Hey there, Dr. Sabrina Starling coming to you to talk with you today about your mental health because your mental health matters. And May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think there is important space in the conversation that we need to have around mental health and talk about entrepreneurial mental health. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is you taking really good care of yourself, checking in with yourself and understanding where you are in relation to burnout and any experience that you may be having where not only is your mental health suffering, but those around you are experiencing the impact of what's going on with your emotional and mental well-being. As a business psychologist, I have a background in counseling psychology. That's what I got my doctoral degree in years ago. And I got burned out working in community mental health. I did it for 5 years after graduate school. And that's where I really got exposed to burnout. And what was interesting to me is I was on the forefront doing all kinds of things to help our other team members at the community mental health center take care of themselves and prevent burnout. And I was studying burnout. And ironically, as I was teaching others not to get burnt out and supporting them in their well-being, I started getting burnt out. And so this topic is very near and dear to my heart. I know what it feels like to be burning out. And I also know the experience of uh, how hard it is to come out of burnout. So that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the things I want to share with you, we're recording this live, and I love it if there's some of you right now who are watching this live. Feel free to interact with me. I have the comments turned on. We're live across Facebook, and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I'm monitoring the comments. And so it would be awesome to have a real discussion here with you and hear your feedback and your reactions. And for those of you who are listening to this on the Profit by Design podcast and you're not hearing it live, we go live every Friday to record the Profit by Design podcast. We're live 11:30 Central, it's 12:30 Eastern, 10:30 Mountain, and 9:30 Pacific. Put that on your calendar. Show up if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you like to be. Show up live. And it's a great opportunity for you to ask me questions about the content that I'm teaching here on the podcast. And it's also a cool opportunity to bring up the challenges that you have and ask for help in relation to what I'm teaching about that particular day. So let's dive in. I when it comes to running a business, I know that the greatest challenge we have is that our growing businesses take over our lives. And what happens is when we have a startup, we put all this effort into getting this business off the ground. And we are so passionate. For me, when I started Tap the Potential all those years ago, I was just excited to be free and to make my own schedule and that I could get paid for doing work that was really interesting to me. And I threw myself in. I knew I wasn't going to go back to having a full-time job. I needed to be able to have a business and have that freedom and do things my way, that entrepreneurial spirit. And so I was like, I'm going to learn whatever it takes. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I had tremendous passion and tremendous energy. And over time, that level of energy and passion, you can't sustain it. It's like an adrenaline rush, and you can't sustain that long term. And so as we move from the startup phase of our business into a more established business where we are successful in getting sales coming in, we have clients and customers. And now the changes, the business demands something very different from us. It demands that we learn how to lead and we learn how to hire and we learn how to manage people. And those are all new skill sets. And it's really hard to learn all that while you're in the middle of doing the doing. And so we have this good stress on us, that pressure to start learning and growing. We call that eustress, and it's EUSTRESS. It means good stress. And at the same time, if we don't have good resources and support around us, coaching, training, mentoring, other business peers that we can talk freely to and bounce ideas off of, it becomes this experience where we feel like we're stretched and challenged, stretched and challenged, stretched and challenged, and we don't have support. And so we start to doubt our ability to meet the demands placed on us. And as a fellow entrepreneur, I know when you're at that point in your business, number one, you're shouldering high levels of responsibility, not just for yourself, but also for your team members. You're wanting to make sure that your team is taking care of your clients and customers. You may feel responsible for your team members' paychecks, and it just goes on and on. And then because the more complex the business becomes, the more opportunities there are for things to go wrong. And so one of the things that we do in the startup phase to ourselves is we say yes to all these different opportunities because we're trying to make money and get money coming in the door. But that leads us to have these overweight businesses where we have a variety of clients and customers, and we're serving a variety of needs. And that complexity creates more opportunities for things to go wrong, for cash flow issues to happen, for team members to not show up and not do what they need to do, for you to have to hire and fire and replace people. So there's just all this ongoing stress and constant pressure, and it takes a significant toll on our health and well-being. I have been studying what it's like to be an entrepreneur for years. I've just been fascinated by the entrepreneurial experience, and I'm really fascinated by what the reality is of entrepreneurship, as well as the people who are entrepreneurs who are succeeding and who are living a high quality of life. What are they doing differently? So today I just want to talk about the reality of being an entrepreneur, so that if you're in that place of struggle and stress and you're finding yourself burning out, you recognize that there's nothing wrong with you. You are not alone. This is pretty normal. So, in my research with the Better Business, Better Life assessment that we've been using now since 2020, we've had over almost 400 entrepreneurs take this assessment, and we've analyzed the data on over 230 of them. And what we're finding is that 9 out of 10 of us entrepreneurs are burning out. 9 out of 10. The average length of time in business of those that we've surveyed has been 12 years. So these are entrepreneurs, small business owners who've been in business for a number of years, and 9 out of 10 are burning out. And when we look at the most frequently reported number of days that you all are saying you're able to be away from your business fully unplugged, that number is 0. So just think about that for a moment. Being in business 12 or more years, and over that period of time, not having the opportunity to unplug at any point. You always got the phone with you, being on call, responding to emails, responding to text messages at family events, during holidays, during Christmas vacation. Maybe you take vacations with your family, but you're the one bringing the laptop, and you're on your phone while your family goes off and has fun. That's no fun. And so that experience of not being able to switch off and unplug is part of what really sets us up for burnout. It's very serious. 8 out of 10 of us find it hard to switch off and not think about the business. And that shouldn't be surprising, right? If we feel like we can't be away from the business fully unplugged, that business is always with us. We're carrying it around in our heads all the time. And interestingly, just in conversations, when I ask entrepreneurs, how many hours do you work, including the time you spend thinking about the business, all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh, I'm working constantly. I'm always thinking about the business. That is a big red flag that you are setting yourself up for burnout. We're also seeing that across entrepreneurs in the last 3 days, 1 out of 2 of us have neglected basic needs such as sleep, healthy eating, or social interaction, spending time with the people we care about, because the business needed something from us, right? That 1 out of 2 of us, 50% in the last 3 days, are saying, I'm putting my needs aside because I got to take care of the business. It's all about the business. And if that happened once a month, no big deal. If that happened once a week, maybe not a big deal. But if that's happening every other day, or one out of two of us in the last 3 days are doing that, that has a cumulative effect. And this is where I think it's really important to understand how subtle burnout can be for us, because it's like we're that frog in the boiling pot of water. When we start out in our business, we got all this energy and the business needs it because we got to learn and we got to figure out how to make this business work. And then as the business grows, we got to keep that going. We got to keep it going. But we're getting tired, but it doesn't matter. We got to push our needs aside because the business needs us, and we're going to plow through. And then we become that frog in the boiling pot of water, where these symptoms of burnout really start to build on each other. And at some point, we are going to cross a dangerous threshold where there will be a significant impact on our health due to the chronic stress and the stress hormones that flood our bodies continuously when we're that wound up. We're also putting ourselves at risk for depression, anxiety, addiction, relationship problems, divorce, problematic relationship with our children. All of that is a consequence of this business constantly being in our attention, our awareness, and needing things from us. We never get that opportunity to unplug, step back, recharge, relax. That's a very dangerous place to be. And if you're hearing yourself, as I describe this, if you're hearing yourself in what I'm describing, I really encourage you to pay attention. This is really important for you. And another part of what we're seeing in the research is that 1 out of 2 of us feel as though no one understands us and the stressors we experience as entrepreneurs. So 50% of us as entrepreneurs feel like others don't understand our experience. Other people around us don't understand our experience. And I think that's important to pay attention to, because people around us, even family members, see us as, you're the boss, you own the business, you're in control, you can stop this treadmill at any time. That's their perception. Meanwhile, when you're burning out, it becomes harder and harder to think with clarity. If you've had that experience where simple things that you used to be able to do with ease in the business now feel harder, or if it feels harder to make decisions, or if it feels sometimes like people are talking to you and you hear the words, but you can't process what they just said because you were over here thinking about this thing or talking about this thing, and then somebody else came over and shared this. It's like there's all these things just coming at you, right? Those are signs of burnout. And another big sign of burnout is that feeling of becoming more and more cynical about the people around us. I hear this a lot when I talk to business owners about employees. I hear people say, you can't hire good help, you can't find good people, I just do it all myself, I don't trust people, this is all on me. Or when things go wrong in the business, just firing off and getting angry and upset with team members because you just immediately make the assumption that they dropped the ball, they did something wrong. And that happens because you're so tightly wound when you're burnt out. You're on go. It's those stress hormones that are constantly in your system that make you just ready to pop off at any given time. And the sad thing about that is when we think about, okay, so 50%, 1 out of 2 of us feels like no one understands us, and we get angry and upset and we lose our cool, and then we alienate people further from us, we have this growing sense of isolation. Like it's all on me and I have to do this. And because we start pulling back from our relationships when we're burning out, we have less social support available to us. We have less opportunity to check in and hear feedback from the people around us. We may even shut down the people around us who want to give us feedback, and we might snap and pop off. I see a big thumbs up. So I know what I'm talking about right now is really connecting and hitting home. And so as we think about burnout, we have to be aware that we have to stop the burnout cycle. It's not okay to stay in burnout. It's just because you've been doing it for this long doesn't mean you're going to be able to keep doing it. Something is going to give. And the most dangerous thing that you're at risk for are all the mental health problems that can be created by burnout. We entrepreneurs are 2 times more likely than the general population to suffer depression. 2 times more likely. And that's because of burnout, right? We're 70% more likely to experience addiction, and our divorce rate is 5 to 10 times higher than the general population. So grinding it out in our businesses is not okay. You can't keep going forward and doing that. Grinding it out is really, it grinds us up. And so the reason I think that we need to have more and more conversations about entrepreneur mental health is because we're the backbone of the US economy. We entrepreneurs are responsible for 2/3 of net new job creation and 44% of US economic activity. I mean, we are some badass individuals, and we're doing big things in the world. We're creating opportunities for people to be employed. And we're solving big problems in our businesses. And at the same time, we're shouldering all this stress, and it's just not okay. And so if you're hearing this and you're relating to any of what I'm describing as I describe the different symptoms of burnout, I really want to encourage you, take this time and check in with yourself. Take our Better Business, Better Life assessment, and you will have that opportunity to assess your level of burnout risk. You'll get immediate feedback on what your current risk is for burnout, and feedback with respect to what you need to start doing differently to take better care of yourself. And for those of you who have taken our Better Business, Better Life assessment in the past, I recommend you take this at least every 6 months. I used to say at least once a year. I'm changing that recommendation to every 3 to 6 months to take our Better Business, Better Life assessment and check in with yourself with respect to your level of burnout. I'm going to post the link to the assessment here in the chat. And the reason you need to take this more frequently is because I've watched business owners who are in a great place, who have 0 symptoms of burnout because they've done a lot of things to get their business in a good space. A lot of our clients in our Better Business, Better Life program have taken 4-week vacations, and they have businesses that are running without their daily involvement. And then something changes, something in the marketplace changes, something in the industry changes, or something internally changes. Maybe there's some team members that go away who were key team members, but it pulls that business owner back into the business. So you can go very quickly from having, like, oh, my life is great and I finally got my business where it can run without me, to, oh my goodness, this isn't so good anymore. I'm really struggling. And so I love just that we have this assessment. There's no charge for you to take it. And it's a great opportunity every 3 to 6 months. Just check in with yourself. And if you get feedback on that assessment that you are experiencing symptoms of burnout, if you get 1 or 2 symptoms, like, that's great. I'm proud of you if you only have 1 or 2 symptoms of burnout. It's also a red flag. Because, like I said, it's the frog in the boiling pot of water. You want to intervene in your life and look at what changes can you make. And what I love about our Better Business, Better Life assessment is it's not just about you. It's about your business and the health of your business. And so the second part of the assessment allows you to assess the key systems that you need to have in place for you to have a good quality of life in your business. And so as you're going through and saying, yes or no, I have the system in place, number one, you may have had a system in place and it was solid, but then something changed and it needs to be revamped. And that could be what is now causing you to have a lot of extra stress. I had a conversation yesterday with a business owner who said, I'm sorry, I'm a little scattered. My mood's not so great. It's because one of my members of my leadership team is on vacation. And I said, oh, wow. And then he went on to say, and I'm having to do extra things. And I said, oh, it sounds like that responsibilities went up the accountability chart versus going down the accountability chart. And that was an awareness that in this business, when a key team member takes vacation, the responsibilities of that team member need to be delegated down the accountability chart, not back up to the business owner, because for several reasons. Because if something were to happen and that key team member would leave, then everything falls back on the business owner, right? That's not good. But also, when responsibilities are not delegated down the accountability chart, it deprives others who are coming up the accountability chart, it deprives them of learning opportunities and opportunities to show themselves to be leaders in the business. And so, but all of that was not being processed. That business owner was just stressed, right? Because that's what we feel like. We're stressed. We can't sort it out. And so that's the value of not doing this alone. Don't do entrepreneurship alone. Be in a community like our community at Tap the Potential. We have our Mighty Networks community. That's a great place to connect with other entrepreneurs who are proactively taking their lives back. And as I talk about that here, I'm going to post the link for that in our chat too. It's tapthepotential.com/group. And I'll put that here. And that way, if you're listening to this and you're like, I feel so alone, I don't know where to find other like-minded entrepreneurs who can support me, our community is definitely here to support you. So I want to also just acknowledge that as we are talking about burnout, the number one thing that you need to do if you are seeing yourself have symptoms of burnout, even 1 or 2 symptoms, but goodness, if you have 6 symptoms, 7 symptoms or more, that's a really big issue. But regardless if it's 1 or 2 or 7 or more symptoms, you need to start putting some limits in place on the business, right? It's boundaries, healthy boundaries. So we business owners get in these codependent relationships with our business. We tell ourselves in our heads that we're the superhero in the business and this business needs me. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to do whatever is needed to keep things going. I'm going to rescue the team. I'm going to rescue the clients and customers. I'm the hero. And that takes a big toll. And it also means that we are keeping poor boundaries with the business. We're in this enmeshed relationship. And so we want to set some boundaries with the business. And what's cool about setting boundaries with your business is that limits force innovation and creativity in our businesses. So there are so many ways, so many opportunities to set limits in your business. The very first limit that you need to set is to tell yourself it doesn't depend on me. Right? In your head, that just awareness, this business does not depend on me. I have an entire team. I have human resources. When you have A players on your team, and I know so many of you listening have done great work to get A players on your team using How to Hire the Best. You have those A players. Ask for support, speak up and say, I need some help, and ask and let people show up and help you. Your team members want to show you what they're capable of doing. And every time you just decide, you know what, I'm going to do this myself because it's easier, you are depriving somebody on your team the opportunity to prove themselves and to grow in their own leadership. So cut it out. Stop doing that. That's one of the first limits that you need to start creating, is that limit in your head. And so I really believe that the questions we ask ourselves determine the solutions we find. So instead of asking, what do I need to do to fix this thing that just went wrong? Change that question to, how could we, number one, how could we prevent this in the future? Who could help me figure this out? And as a matter of fact, who could make the changes to the system so that this doesn't happen again, right? So now you're not asking, what do I need to do? You're asking who? And you're asking, how do we make this better? How do we prevent it in the future? So asking better questions. And that really starts to shift our mindset. And I think it's a beautiful thing in terms of burnout, because we immediately become aware that we have people around us who are wanting to support us. And that's what we forget when we're burning out. We feel like no one understands us, no one cares. But we say, well, who could support me? Now we're thinking about, oh, I have people around me. I have support. And then as we start looking at putting more limits in place, there's simple things. You can end your day at 5. Go home, put your phone in a drawer and shut the drawer, turn the phone off, and be fully present with your family. Unplug. Just that few hours at the end of the day where you're not thinking about the business and you're not on social media and you're not connecting and responding and having all those dopamine hits from the social media and all the adrenaline because somebody in the business needed something at the last minute and it's 6 o'clock or whatever. And you're just present with yourself and your family. That does wonders for your mental health. And you do it once, you're going to want to have that experience over and over again. I guarantee you. You just have to try it. Trust me on that. Go home, and this weekend, this is Friday when I'm recording this right now. And so I'm so ready for the weekend. I'm going to fully unplug. When I am done today, I'm done. I'm not working. I don't work on the weekends. I haven't for a long time. And it's the best thing because I recharge every week. I have that break that I look forward to, and I'm going to recharge every week. We have some clients who don't work Fridays anymore. I work a 25-hour work week, so I work Fridays. But we have some that say, you know what, I'm going to work a regular work week Monday through Thursday, but I'm taking Fridays off. Or some who start with once a month taking Fridays off or taking Friday afternoons off and leaving early, leaving at noon. Give yourself that permission. And if you are one of those who works on the weekends, who goes in on Sunday because no one else is there, or you're going in and you're cleaning the office, or you and your family are going in and cleaning the office, you need to cut this out. You need a break. This has to stop. Find somebody else who can clean the office and figure out a way, what limits need to be set so that you can be in the office and get work done and not have to go in on the weekends to have that thinking space. So I'll give you an example of something that we have our clients doing, and they're having success with that. They're communicating with the team around quiet time and no interruption time. Like, this is my thinking space. This is my thinking time in the business. I need these hours. I will not be available. Yes, my body is here. It is behind that closed door, but I am not available. And so what this does, number one, it creates that thinking space for you in the business, and it helps your team hold you accountable. And when you do your thinking time, throw the phone in a drawer in some other office space. Get it out of your reach, because the distractions, and you need to shut off the notifications on your computer so you're not getting dinged with emails and social media networks popping and somebody's connected with you and blah blah blah. You need to go check and see what that is. It's crazy, when you have your thinking time and you tell your team, this is my thinking time, they're going to hold you accountable. If they see you come out of the office, they're going to say, well, what are you go back in there? That's your thinking time. And you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's okay. You can leave to go to the bathroom, but they will help you hold accountability. And again, tying back to that feeling like no one understands, no one cares, which is a symptom of burnout. When you have your team around you supporting you and setting those healthy limits so that you can do the things you need to do to take care of yourself, that's going to support you in feeling less burnt out. You're also creating an opportunity for you to get deep work done. And one of the biggest causes of frustration and burnout for us as entrepreneurs in our businesses is that experience of I start this thing and I start this thing and I start this thing. And now here it is 6 months later, I haven't made progress on any of those things. I feel like this is all for nothing. Why am I working so hard? And meanwhile, profitability in the business is suffering, cash flow is suffering, you're not paying yourself appropriately. And so it feels like you're putting out all this effort and nothing is changing. That's a big part of what makes us feel burnt out. So if you block this thinking time for yourself and you tell your team and everyone around you knows these are your dedicated times for thinking and doing the deep work, you'll be able to work on the bigger projects, the systems, the $10,000 an hour activities that really do move the business forward. And when you do it from week to week, that small steps forward starts to happen. Those small steps forward, taken in a consistent direction, lead to big change over time. So one of the best ways to stop burning out is to see actual improvement happening in your business because of your efforts. right? That feels empowering again. It's that point we start burning out when we feel like I'm working my tail off and things are just worse. They're not better. I'm gradually slipping back. I'm losing ground in the business. That's where we're going to get burnt out. And that's where all of our bad head talk, that trash talk that we get going in our head, that's where that starts. And so just the simple act of blocking some thinking time and having accountability around you. We have our clients in our Better Business, Better Life program sharing what their ideal calendars are and sharing their intentions of, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to work on these things this week, because we hold them accountable so that they have that forward momentum and can really experience the emotional benefits of that forward momentum happening in the business. That's where we start to feel like, okay, yeah, it's exciting. This is fun. This entrepreneurial journey, this is fun again, because I see progress happening. So other limits that you can set are taking vacation, taking time away from your business fully unplugged. So those, the 4-week vacation, if you decide I want to take a 4-week vacation, I'm going to make this happen in my business, you have to start putting limits in place in your business. There's no better way to force your business to fit better in your life and to give you life than to pledge to take the 4-week vacation. Because when you pledge to take the 4-week vacation, you have to build up the muscle in yourself and your team and your business for you to be able to take a 4-week vacation. And it starts with all these small steps forward, these limits that you start putting in place, where the team has to leave you alone for 2 hours or 4 hours so you can do your deep work. They're learning how to solve problems on their own through that experience. When you don't answer your phone after 5 and somebody else has to figure it out, or it just has to wait, you're teaching your customers you're not going to respond after 5 o'clock. We teach people how to treat us. So if we're constantly on the phone after 5 and responding to people, we're teaching the people around us we're available all the time. We're just going to respond. And that's not healthy. And so when you take the 4-week vacation pledge and you say, yes, in 12 to 18 months, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to build up my muscle in myself and my team and my business so that I can be away fully unplugged for 4 weeks. You are putting yourself on a trajectory of better mental health because every small limit creates more life for you. When you go home at 5 o'clock, you have the opportunity to prepare a healthy meal, to sit down and eat a healthy meal, to eat slowly and not scarf it down while you're standing up somewhere. You have the opportunity to exercise. You have the opportunity to read a book instead of being on TV or watching social or being on social. And I want to talk about this because when we are most burnt out, that's when we are most likely to scroll endlessly on social. And social can bring us down. I really encourage you to look at when you're connecting on social media, do you feel better about yourself and your life? Or are you feeling worse than before you opened your phone and looked at your social? If you're feeling worse, stop it. Get off social. Find something else to go do with your time. I limit my social significantly because I feel drained after being on it and seeing all these things, and it's just too much. So I limit it. And when I do connect on social, I enjoy it because I'm like, oh, I'm checking in with these people that I haven't connected with for a while, and it feels like this is like a social experience. That's how it's supposed to feel. But if we're on social all the time, that's where we're really at risk for it starting to drain us. And so as you start setting these limits in your business and you start working up to a 4-week vacation, you're creating more and more opportunities for your mental health and well-being to improve. And what I really love about our business owners who've pledged to take the 4-week vacation is all the resistance that comes up when you pledge to take the 4-week vacation. So the resistance might be, well, it's just a team of one. How do I take a 4-week vacation? So when all that starts to go through your head, just say, you know what? I am a team of one, but if I ever want to be away fully unplugged from my business, I got to find some help. So what do I need to learn? Oh, I need to learn how to hire the best. I think Dr. Sabrina wrote a book about that. I think she teaches a course on that. So it puts us, the questions we start asking ourselves put us on a trajectory to learn and get the support we need. We at Tap the Potential love it when you take the 4-week vacation pledge, because we are going to pull out all the stops to help you. You don't even have to be a client at Tap the Potential to receive significant amount of support from us in taking your 4-week vacation and moving you through your vacation tests. So when you take the 4-week vacation pledge, you get invited into joining our Mighty Networks, because we want to build that community around you so you are not alone. You get invited to attend our next Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart, which is where I teach you all the foundational pieces that you need to put in place to take a 4-week vacation. There's no charge to come to the Jumpstart. That's free. We are being a gift from our gifts to support you in that. You also will share when you plan to take your 4-week vacation. And when you do that, you are assigned a success concierge on our team. That success concierge is going to reach out to you and talk to you about your 4-week vacation tests and the time frame for doing your tests so that you can hit your goal of the 4-week vacation. And that success concierge will also go over your assessment results with you and say, look, you've got 5 things in your business that are great. You've got some solid things going on, but you've got some gaps here. These are the areas that you're going to need to address so that you can successfully be away from your business. So all of that is going to happen when you take the 4-week vacation pledge. So I want to encourage you, if you're listening to this and you're ready, you're going to take your life back from your business. I think one of the most empowering things that you could do at this point is take the 4-week vacation pledge. Head on over to tapthepotential.com/pledge. You'll see a place to enter your name, your contact information so we can follow up with you and support you. And you will also be asked to share your dates for your 4-week vacation. And then we're going to support you. We're going to provide you with the resources to get you there. For those of you that want the total support package, that's our Better Business, Better Life program. And you can learn all about that at tapthepotential.com. We have the link for the 4-week vacation pledge scrolling across the screen. So our big, hairy, audacious goal at Tap the Potential is to disrupt hustle culture. So hustle culture is grind it out, work harder, and you've got to grow your revenue and grow the size of your team. That's not a healthy way to do entrepreneurship. I know from my own experience, having grown Tap the Potential over the last 17 or 18 years, working 25 hours a week, taking multiple 4-week vacations, 6-week vacations, 9-week vacations, and the business continued to run and grow without me. I know this can be done. We've taken many other business owners, other trailblazers through the 4-week vacation and getting their businesses where the business can run without them. So you're in really good company if you take the 4-week vacation pledge. Our goal is to disrupt hustle culture, and we will know our sign, our result that will let us know that we've made a significant impact on disrupting hustle culture is we want 10,000 entrepreneurs to have taken a 4-week vacation in the next 10 years. So if you want to join that community of us trailblazers and disruptors who are out there disrupting entrepreneurial hustle culture, go take the 4-week vacation pledge. Head on over to tapthepotential.com/pledge. Thank you for joining me here. I know several of you, I'm seeing how many of you are watching live, so thank you for being here. I haven't seen any comments come through in the chat, but also I'm doing this through StreamYard, so sometimes StreamYard doesn't catch all the comments on social. But thank you for being here. I hope I didn't miss any questions, and we're live every Friday, 11:30 CT. Bye for now.